So last week sometime I was browsing eBay late at night like I do sometimes, like I do a lot of the time. And I came across a secondhand knife that I've wanted for quite a while, but it's been fairly expensive, so I haven't been deciding to go ahead and buy one. Um, this was up for auction, and the auction was starting at $75, which is about half the price that these are new. So I bid on it for $75, and then I ended up winning because it's not a Great Eastern cutlery knife or a case knife or anything like that. So I ended up winning it. What this is an Otter messer, and I'm not sure what their like official name for this is. I've seen it called the safety knife, um, but there's like a really big locking folder with this really interesting locking mechanism that I'll show here. But it is fairly large blades, like 4 inches long, with a cutting edge of like 3.5 inches, or like 3 and 5/8 inches. So really large knife, with these beautiful. They call it elkhorn, but we here in the United States would just call this stag. But it looks really good, and this stag is really thick, which in your hand feels really good because it really fills up your hand a lot. So that's nice. Um, this being a secondhand knife, it does have some scratches and stuff on it, which, whatever, because my plan for this knife is to use it anyway, so it's going to get scratches on it. As far as I'm aware, this is a carbon steel knife, but I wasn't really paying that much attention. I think usually the otter messers that aren't carbon steel usually say rust fry, uh, I think, which is like stainless pretty much. Um, Typically, anyway. You can see there it's got the otter mark on the blade. Like I said, the blade does have some scratching and stuff on it. You can see there it's fairly significant. I may try to clean it up a little bit, or I might not, because, like I said, my plan for this knife is just to carry it anyway. When I got the knife, it didn't have any play when it was open, but when it was closed, it was moving around quite a bit. So I just kind of tightened up that pivot a little bit, which made the action a little worse. Here's some more scratching on this side here on the blade, um, which made the action a little worse. But since this is a locking folder, I'm not nearly as concerned about action as I would be. But speaking of this being a locking folder, it's got this really interesting mechanism here that uses this like locking lever kind of. So this is all the way down, and then you have to kind of lever it up into like this position, and then once you're in this position, you just push it forward, and it lifts up the back spring lock, and you can shut the blade. And you want to just close that then, and then the blade shuts and everything, and then it just works like a regular knife. So then you open it, then it's locked. Then you have to flip up this lever and use it as a lever to close the knife. And you just saw right there what happens if you don't move it back. It'll, kind of do that. So if you don't move it back, let me give you a better example here. If you don't move it back, like if you just push this forward and then go to fold the blade, if you don't move it back, it'll just kind of loosely close, and then you have to close it the rest of the way. So the best way I've found to do it in just playing with it here is to close the blade, start to close the blade, then flip that back down, and then it just acts like a normal back spring or like a back lock knife. But I'm pretty thrilled that I got one of these for about half the price of a new one. And it doesn't appear like it was really used a whole lot. I mean, other than the scratches on it, there's really no signs of use. It doesn't seem like it has been sharpened a whole lot or anything. So I think this thing's still got a lot of use left in it. It doesn't have any play like up or down or side to side. Like I said, when I got it, it didn't have any side to side play when it was open, but when it was closed, it did have quite a bit, and it still has a little bit of like play when it's closed, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. I don't know what that's about, but when it's open, there's no play, and that's what's important to me, really. Um, but overall, I mean, this is just a really good looking knife with the stag handles. I like the lever lock or whatever you want to call that. It's really cool. It's certainly a different design to what I'm used to, so that's neat. And this knife overall just looks really good. It's got brass bolsters. The lever is brass. Of course, the thing the lever pins to is steel because I think that's just a part of the back spring or lock bar, I guess it would technically be. Um, brass liners, brass pins. Yeah, brass pins. These beautiful stag or elkhorn handles here. And they are seriously thick stag handles. But this is one heck of a knife, and it is real big. It's like man, I wish I had grabbed one of my jumbo trappers because I think it might be bigger than my jumbo trappers. And if it's not bigger, it's a very similar size to a jumbo trapper, and it's a pretty similar size to like a buck 110, I think. You could probably carry this in a buck 110 sheath if you wanted to. It would probably fit pretty well. But overall, I mean, I feel like I got a pretty good deal on this. Secondary market on eBay, $75 for a knife that retails for, I think the cheapest that I've seen it is on Chicago Knife Works right now, and that's like 130. So I really did pay about half price for this. So I'm happy with that. Just to experience what this is. They do also make wood versions of this knife, which are quite a bit less expensive. But I really wanted the stag one because it's way cooler than wood, at least in my opinion. But anyway, I just figured I'd do a quick video on this knife because I'd like to be able to carry it, and I wanted to show it off before I carry it and everything. Um, but I feel like I got a pretty good deal on this. I don't know how many people have a whole lot of experience with this knife, with this type of knife. I imagine there's more people in Europe and stuff that have more experience with these. If you know what it's actually called instead of the safety knife, let me know. Leave a comment. I think I've seen people call it the worker knife too. I'm not sure. There's like a German word that is used in some things that I've seen where it's like tacken tack tacken messer or something. I don't know what that means. I don't speak German. I know messer is a knife, but that's about all I know. But anyway, Otter Messer makes really good, fairly affordable knives, although they have been getting a lot more expensive here recently. I'm assuming because of the economy, and there's probably some import tariffs and stuff. Um, but German made pocket knives that are fairly well made. I really like Otter Messer in general, and I feel like they put out a pretty good product for a reasonable price. But I am super thrilled with my Otter Messer. I'm just going to keep calling it the safety knife because I don't know what it's actually called. My Otter Messer safety knife here. I'm very thrilled with it. I think it's awesome looking, and I think that I probably will carry it quite a bit. Of course, I always say that, um, but I really do quite like this knife, at least so far, just playing with it and everything. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good day.